So I just thought there must be a better way of finding clothes that are just really comfy but still make women feel good. So the idea was that I was going to carry on my personal styling business. My husband had a chauffeuring business, and we thought, well, this will be a third business that will be quite just sort of like a little add-on, another kind of income stream. And so it started in the summer of 2018, and we launched it, and we literally started it from the loft in our house, which is very small. And we had two little, I'm going to laugh now, we had two little kind of units that had shelves in that we were going to pop all these clothes in, and that's what we started with. And it just went absolutely ballistic right from day one.
Hello and welcome to another episode of The Big Chat. I am your host, Coco, and I am so pleased to be talking to this person because I've known her a very long time. Goodness me, I think 7 years actually, which may not seem like a long time to some people, but certainly is to me, because she helped me out on my 40th, and we'll go into that later on. But she is a online boutique owner in Tunbridge Wells. Pretty well known, so you probably know who she is already, but if you don't, I'm going to introduce you to the very gorgeous Lynne Meek.
Hello.
Hello. How are you?
Who'd have thought all those years ago that we'd be sitting here doing this now?
I know.
It's
you
funny,
took me on my 40th birthday shopping treat, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. I came to your house, went through your wardrobe,
threw out a load of rubbish and convinced me that I could wear a certain pair of trousers, which I lived in Ibiza.
Excellent.
It was amazing actually. And yeah, I mean, how would you describe what you do to those that are listening that don't? I mean, I just assume everyone knows who you are, darling. But for those that don't, what would you say?
Well, I worked for a very, very long time in an office.
Yeah.
And then about 12 years ago, I went into the world of fashion, worked in a pre-loved boutique for a couple of years. And then I started my own business as a personal stylist. Yeah. I did that for 8 years. And then it was a whole series of reasons, and I won't go into all of them, but there were a couple of reasons that I wanted to start a boutique. I thought it was going to be very small. I thought it was going to be an add-on to my personal styling business, but I was kind of a bit frustrated that I had only so many hours in the day. We all know that one where you have that kind of glass ceiling of not being able to do more because you've only got so many hours and you can't do any more than that. At the time I was on Instagram, and I had quite a big following, and people were very interested in what I was wearing and where I got things, and I became an influencer just kind of by default, really, not as an aim. And I just got to the point where I just started to think there are so many women out there that need help, that are really struggling, that they've got to an age, and it's not age specific, our boutique, but there are, I guess probably the vast majority of our customers are probably in the sort of 45 to 65 bracket. And I mean, you know, we all know we're women, we know how hard it is to keep evolving in how we wear, what we wear and how we look. And of course, for many, many years, there's a lot of women have children, and they become, you know, they put themselves last on the list, and then they have elderly parents that have needs, and they have dogs and houses and all sorts of things. It becomes a very, very busy life, and women generally put themselves at a very low point on that list of things to do. And then ultimately two things happen. They become really quite, I wouldn't say depressed, but really not feeling great about themselves because they haven't invested that time into looking good. But also because our bodies change an awful lot and our lives change an awful lot through every decade, you get to a point where for a lot of women, they were getting to that kind of perimenopausal age, sort of, you know, mid-40s. Everything started to change, and they were just becoming really unstuck and feeling really unhappy because they put on some weight, or their bodies were different, their lives were different, and they just didn't know what they were doing, and they just needed some kind of shortcuts. So when I was a personal stylist, I worked very in depth with those people, but obviously it's an expense that not everyone can afford. Yeah. And I just thought, if I could just sell a few things, because everyone's going, oh, where'd you get that from? I love that. Where'd you get that from? Where'd you get that from? And I was finding it hard to go out shopping with people because they sometimes would have quite limited budgets, or they were very localised in that they couldn't really go any further afield. And I couldn't find the clothes that I knew that they wanted. I knew that they wanted, one woman summed it up perfectly. She said, the thing is, Lynn, she said, I don't want to look like my daughter. But she said, but I don't want to look like my mum either. And I went, that's absolutely it in a nutshell. You know, we're women that still want to look good. Yeah. We want to look like on trend. Yeah. We don't want to look frumpy, but we don't want to look like we're trying too hard either. So there was this whole kind of need for clothing that was easy to look after, that was on trend without being kind of so fashion forward that it was scary. Things that made them feel really good, that were comfortable, because comfort's so important, especially with the middle.
So important.
Because, you know, we all fluctuate an awful lot. And I think, and also with women that are going sort of through, you know, monthly fluctuations, and a lot of women end up having to have a lot of operations and things that happen with their bodies, with their stomachs and with their reproductive cycles, everything kind of changes. Yeah. And they were all sort of going, oh, you know, I've got these jeans, but I can't get into them anymore. They're making me feel really uncomfortable. They put on a dress with a fixed waistband, and they just felt it was right in the morning, but by the evening they were bursting out of it. So I just thought there must be a better way of finding clothes that are just really comfy, but still make women feel good. So the idea was that I was going to carry on my personal styling business. My husband had a chauffeuring business, and we thought, well, this will be a third business that will be quite... just sort of like a little add-on, another kind of income stream. And so it started in the summer of 2018, and we launched it, and we literally started it from the loft in our house, which is very small. And we had two little, kind of laugh now, we had two little kind of units that had shelves in that we were going to pop all these clothes in, and that's what we started with. And it just went absolutely ballistic right from day one. Mainly because, and I hadn't done that kind of, you know, teaser campaign, the build up. It just took off immediately, which was really lovely because I had such a good following of people on Instagram. But I think also by then there was a trust. Yeah, of course. That because people knew that I'd be honest, that I always wanted to look good myself, but I was really wanting to help women. And that's what has always been my goal, is to help as many women as possible. So the business sort of started, and it took off really quickly. And we were then struggling with three businesses. It was almost like we had two ponies and one stallion. So we were just like, oh God, what are we going to do now? We can't do it all. So my husband was very, very happy to sell his business and kind of come on full time. And for a long time, I was in denial about it. I was like, I can do it all. You know, I can run this business and I can be a personal stylist. And of course, it wasn't possible. It was just, it grew so quickly. So a couple of moves later, we're in a much bigger building.
Beautiful building.
It's really lovely. Yeah. And it's, we've got 5 full-time staff, and it's, you know, we're very happy with how it's gone. The business has grown really well. Our son is with us as well now. He joined a couple of years ago. He does all our branding and marketing and a million of other things as well. So it's really lovely. I mean, I feel very blessed that I have my son sitting opposite me, and I can hear my husband downstairs singing as he's wrapping and packing and taking new stock in and stuff.
And
so,
he's definitely upstyled old Russell, you know, hasn't he? I mean, not that he wasn't a handsome man, but you two have a true love story. You've been together forever, haven't you?
Yeah, God, it'd be 40 years next year.
Do you know what I mean?
I know,
it's really lovely,
it's
and
crazy.
You're so happy together.
We are.
I have noticed from afar that he's styled up a little bit.
He
has. The last few years.
He has, and he's actually really enjoying it.
He's found his vibe.
He has.
Which is really nice.
And he's amazing, and he absolutely loves the business. He's very excited
so cool.
the direction it's gone in. And so as time has gone on, I mean, I still try to help with the styling with, we do Insta Lives each week. So it's kind of showing tips and tricks and how you can wear things and how you can style things up and that kind of thing. So I do as much as I possibly can on social media, but I'm not able to go out and do kind of shopping trips. Well, not that I would want to, because it's like, well, actually, I like our stuff better.
But also, it's like, I think what I really like about when you went on to Instagram, because obviously you did a personal styling trip with me, and it was like it was a treat. It was a 40th treat for my husband. Yeah. And like you say, it wasn't affordable for everyone. It wasn't something I could afford to do every month.
No.
But I really enjoyed the experience, and it did open my eyes to clothes that I would not necessarily go for. And you'd be like, oh, what about those trousers? And I'd be like, I need to lose a few pounds. And you'd be like, you know, to get me in a pair of jeans, things like that. And I was 40 then, and you know, I just had my children were, what were they, 4 and 6 then. And then, yeah, like you say, you go through this phase of 40. I mean, I started my journey of menopause, shall we call it, around 43. I'm coming just out the end of it. You know, I'm going to be 48 in June. And your body does change, and everything changes. You go through life, you go through all these things. I think what's lovely about you on Instagram is that you show your clothes.
Yeah.
It's you.
Yeah.
You don't get some other model that's, it could be older, could be younger, no, not ages or anything, but it's you.
Yeah.
You are the person that shows the clothes.
Yeah.
And so it gets your personality, it gets your brand across.
Yeah.
And you dress great. So it's like
it's kind of a twofold thing, really, because it's sort of this is the way I like to dress, and you know, and I'm always a walking advert because I wear all clothes all the time.
Exactly.
But so I can style things how I want to. But most importantly, it means that I know our clothes inside and out because I've bought everything, I've listed everything on the website, I've measured everything, I've done a size guide, so I know exactly.
You have that as well, don't you?
Yeah.
You have different sizes, which
well,
because
it used to frustrate all the things that used to frustrate me about online businesses, where you go on and it'll go small, medium, large, and I go, well, what the hell does that mean?
And it's also, you get a large and you put it on, and it's as tight as anything on you, and you depresses you. You're like,
exactly.
Hang on a minute, what am I, like extra large? And we all have this fixation with, you know, I've just discovered it with my daughter. She doesn't want to buy. She is very tall, but she doesn't. She's 11, but she's the size of a 13-year-old, and she gets really upset. She doesn't want to buy clothes that are 13-year-old clothes because she wants to buy 11-year-old clothes.
Yeah, yeah.
It's all these things.
It's psychology, isn't it?
It is the psychology. Yeah, it's dangerous.
So it means that when people ask me questions, which they do all the time, they go, "Well, how do you think I'm a curvy pair and I'm size 14 and I'm 5'3", do you think this will fit me?" I can give an honest answer because I know the clothes really, really well. So it kind of works on many levels. But more importantly, I think you're right. I think for people who sort of look at the website, it feels a bit more believable in that I'm literally putting my money where my mouth is, and I'm actually wearing everything myself, because, and of course that doesn't fit for everyone, because you know, some people go, "Oh, it's all very well, but I'm not your height and your size, and you know, how's that going to look on me?" We do try to get other models that come in that are different sizes, but you know, we're a fairly small family business, and there's only so much of that we can do. I think people think we're like Next, and we've got this huge budget. We can have a variety of every type of model under the sun and every type of height, and they go, so I had one lady once, she said, "Well, I'm this size and this height and this colouring, so can you get a model in to put everything on?" Well, we would be out of business by tomorrow if we did that. You know, there are only so much. So I think people sort of think that we're something different to what we are. But, you know, we work really, really, really hard to help people and present our clothes in a way that they are going to feel happy wearing them, and they feel kind of empowered in a way that they feel, you know, I get so many lovely messages from people, and they go, "I feel like I'm out of my rut now. I've got my groove back. I'm getting so many lovely comments from my friends. Are like, wow, where'd you get that from?" And that confidence, to be able to give that to people, is just, that's why I do it. It's as simple as that, because I think I've been through that whole times in my life when I've had very little confidence, and I know how empowering having confidence is and how good it makes you feel. And then everyone around you feels better too, because you're feeling good about yourself.
Absolutely. And I think one of the things that I really get cross with myself for, and I must let go of it as a resentment, but when women have children, and this is before I had children, you know, there's always that thing that people say, "Oh, women, they let themselves go after have children."
Yeah.
Well, when I had my children, I realised what that meant.
Yeah.
What that meant was I'm absolutely knackered.
I
haven't got any time.
Yeah.
And I've put on a load of weight. My body's changed. I'm feeding a baby. It's not all about me.
Yeah.
But from the outside world, it's like, "Oh, didn't she let herself go when she had a baby?"
Yeah.
And I would never say that to anyone ever, ever, ever.
No.
But I mean, we're talking about a few years ago. It's changing now. But it is that thing, isn't it? That, you know, just because you've had a baby, or just because you're pregnant, you know, when you're pregnant, you can look beautiful. Yeah. You don't have to wear sort of, you know, I feel really sorry for my mama's generation, where she would have to wear sort of like a frock or something when she was pregnant.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You know, whereas now you can dress in beautiful clothes when you're pregnant, and after your body's changing, you can, like I love the fact that you say that you help people with comfort things. I mean, I love these high-waisted jeans at the moment, but I drink loads of water.
Yeah.
And the other day, I was in Wales with my partner, and I was just like, throughout the day, just as you were describing that, I could feel it, because I was like, why do I keep needing to go to the toilet? And it's because I've got a 47-year-old bladder. It doesn't hold on so well anymore.
Yeah.
And if you've got high-waisted jeans, it tends to pull in a little bit rather than, but it's all these little things, isn't it, that you're able to really share with people, the comfort of the clothes and the style of the clothes. And also I love the colours that you bring, because I've always loved that. You're a very colourful person. You're a very warm person. And your colours just, they're, you know, I'm quite loud, but I am loud, and that's okay. And I'm happy to be loud. I just love your collection. You managed to make colours go well together. I tend to stick to 2 or 3. You can be a rainbow. That's the way I describe it. You can be a rainbow.
I do love colour. It makes me really, really happy, and I love that it makes other people happy as well.
It does.
Because sometimes, I mean, there have been shops in the past, I won't name them, but you know, quite well known high street shops that you go in and it's like a sea of grey or a sea of black, and I think, well, you know, that's great up to a point, but sometimes you just want something that is going to lift you, and it's not to say that we don't do black and grey, because we do lots of it. But it's also nice to have pops of colour, even if it's just a scarf, just to make you feel happy. So hopefully I can kind of show lots of ways that you can wear lots of different things. You can wear pops of colour. If it's not for you, then we've got lots of neutrals and things as well. But so I always think of the boutique as being a kind of shortcut for people, that they don't have to go through, you know, either. I think one of the things that really struck me, and again, it was a well-known high street shop that has got loads and loads of outlets all over the place. And someone said, oh, there's this really lovely black dress. I'll say who it was actually. It was H&M. H&M, lovely black dress.
You're talking about.
Well, I don't know, but it was years ago. But she said, could you see what you think with it? It's when I was personal styling. Can you see whether it'll suit me or not? And I put in black dress, and 500 came up, and I thought, how are we as women supposed to have enough time to go through 500 black dresses? This is ludicrous. Yeah. So I wanted to have, and that's why it's called the boutique, which makes people think it's an actual shop, but it isn't. It's actually an online boutique. But I wanted it to be quite curated without having just masses and masses and masses of stuff. So if you put in black dress, you might have 2 or 3 come up. You're not going to have 500. But it makes it easier to sort of find things.
And filter through, that's really good.
And I really love it as well when we get orders sometimes, because most people will sort of order a few things. And sometimes I think, now that person's really good, because they've obviously gone through the website and they've gone into tops and they've picked out a couple of bits, and then they've gone into sort of jeans or bottoms or whatever, and then they've found a scarf, and then their little collection of 5 things. I think, I love that. That's going to look amazing together. And I think, and they've really worked that. They've gone through and looked at everything, and they haven't just done the kind of the fast track of what I've put up on Instagram that day where I'm putting it together. They've actually thought outside the box. I love that it makes them creative.
That's so good. Yeah. That's so nice. And like you say, you are a boutique, but you are an online boutique. Yeah. You know, while you have premises, nice premises. Yeah. And you've got your, you know, team of 5 and your son and your husband, but it's online. Yeah. I mean, and why would you need a shop?
We don't need a shop.
Exactly.
In fact, I'm very, very glad that we didn't have a shop, because
did you nearly get a shop at any point?
No, we would never have had a shop. And I think, having worked in retail, that was absolutely key in my mind, that we would never ever have a shop. I mean, if I ever say I'm going to open one, then just shoot me, because it's not a good idea. Not for us. We don't need a shop. We do very, very well online. We sell all over the world. We, you know, some people say, "Oh, do you sell to anyone outside Tunbridge Wells?" And I just went,
yeah,
a
lot, yeah, absolutely.
We sell all over, you know, nationwide and internationally as well. Yeah. But we don't need a shop, and there was never going to be a plan to open a shop, because it's just so expensive. And in fact, we started the business about a year before COVID, year and a half maybe tops. And I remember thinking at the time, well, obviously it was really scary. We weren't quite sure what was going to happen, because, you know, when it first hit, everyone kind of went, there was that intake of breath and nobody knew what to expect. And it was like everything stopped, didn't it? It was like the literally the spoke in the wheel, and nothing happened. And everyone was like, and we were thinking, oh, this is a bit scary. But once people sort of went, okay, well, you know, we're not all going to die here, and we're all stuck at home, and we can't actually go out, and we're still being paid, and I'm a bit bored actually, and I really would like something nice to wear.
But I need
something comfortable. You know, I was getting women that were going, I'm so excited, Lynne, I've been watching you for ages, and but I'm a solicitor in London and I don't need to, you know, I need a corporate wardrobe, so I haven't really needed anything. But now I'm working from home. Your super stretch joggers, oh my word, I've got 5 of them and they are the best thing ever. And she said, you know, lots of them were saying, well, I can wear a little jacket when I'm on Zoom, and I've got your ink camos underneath my desk. And I'm thinking, so we actually were very, very lucky that we didn't have premises that we're having to pay for and couldn't do anything with, that we didn't have stock that was kind of tied up that we couldn't sell because it was too event driven. All our stock was suitable for COVID, and so the business just really took off then. It was massive for us.
Also imagine if COVID had struck and you'd been a personal stylist and Russell had been a chauffeur. Well, both would have been out of work.
Do you know, we look back and we can barely even talk about it because it was such a sliding doors moment. That if we hadn't have decided to do the route that we did, I mean, it doesn't even bear thinking about. It would have been horrific. We would have lost everything, really.
You would, and you would have probably still done this, but under stress, not under choice. You know, so it's lovely that you chose this way. Rather than having it to be like, oh God, we need to do something. Let's do something now, which is what a lot of people had to do. Didn't they?
And it's evolved kind of, you know, naturally in a way that so that we're very. Not only very, very hands-on, that we can listen to what it is that people are wanting, and we can be very reactive to whatever the market's doing, whatever the weather's doing. You know, we're not buying a year ahead like a lot of boutiques have to. We can, you know, if it's suddenly we knew there was a heat wave coming next week, we would be buying little flippy beach dresses like there's no tomorrow. But if
there's you're like weather watching and everything.
Yeah, we're weather watching. We do, and also because we're so kind of hands-on, all of us, we work really, really, really hard to make sure that it is a great customer experience, because we've all, I mean, there can't be a person on the planet that hasn't had times where you've just been so disappointed with the customer service experience, and how horrible you feel afterwards, and how you just kind of think, oh God, that was, you know, I was really hopeful that was going to be something lovely. You know, from brands that you watch on
and trust
on social media, and some really nice sort of up and coming brands, and then when it comes, it's just in a poly bag and it's just been shoved in there, and you think, I spent a lot of money on that, and then it doesn't fit, and so it's we want to over exceed people's expectations, and
that's brilliant.
You know, they're buying things that aren't hopelessly expensive; they're really quite well priced, but it'll all come wrapped in tissue and in really nice recycled bags, and you know, so it's a nice experience, and that they know that they're supported afterwards, that we will look after them.
So talk to me about your clothes. Now obviously you can't give away any of your trade secrets, but where obviously, but I mean, you know, you source for yourself. So how did that journey start? Was that something that
no, it was very, very difficult to start with, because
I bet. Where did you start?
Well, I don't.
You don't have to name places, but
I honestly don't know how I started. I mean, it took hundreds of hours to get anywhere, because it's not like you can sort of just Google it and then off you go.
I mean, I was a fashion buyer back when I was
really hard,
16, 17, but I was doing it for other people. So it was like places like French Connection and Great Plains and all that kind of thing. So I'd go and watch them do the little catwalks, and then we had do you remember Clock down in Tunbridge Wells? I don't know if you remember there.
Yeah,
I worked there for a long time, and so people would come in and they'd bring in their rails and they'd sell us their collections.
Yeah.
But as far as going out and sourcing it,
it's really hard. It's almost like this kind of closed shop. So I mean, it's the same with anything in life, isn't it? There are certain things that you have to just work very, very, very hard at, and it's no easier now, in that, you know, people sort of say, oh, you know, now you know what you're doing and you've got all your supplies, must be dead easy. I mean, I have to look through, I mean, I literally scroll through thousands and thousands of things every day. I might get 5 out of those thousands and thousands, because there is so much clothing out there that is awful. It's badly made, it's shapeless, it's hideous, and I'm so grateful to have all those years as a personal stylist, because it's given me the shorthand needed to focus on what's going to work. I can see something on a hanger and I know whether it'll work or not. Yeah. And I'm really grateful for that, because I think at the beginning of the business, if I hadn't have had that experience, we could have not made any money to begin with, because I think there's so much out there that if you don't know that kind of stuff, it would be
You could get it
quite
and it'd
hard.
be awful.
Yeah, really awful.
Talk to me about some of these beauties you brought with you today.
Well, this is just a little selection. I put in a bit of colour and a little bit of kind of neutrals as well. So we do some really gorgeous things.
Oh my God, that's so cute.
I know. So it's like a little tulle skirt.
Have you just bought a wardrobe that you know I'm going to buy?
I thought, let's just bring things that you will like.
It's like Pushkin Antiques when you had Coco Love on a Chanel necklace.
So, we have some things that are really just quite sort of simple.
Gorgeous.
But they've got there's always something that makes it a little bit more interesting. And then we, have a bit of kind of summer boho.
That's gorgeous.
We do
those are so comfortable.
We do a lot of joggers.
They're just
our business
most comfortable.
Yeah, it kind of started with joggers. Really, what we do.
Yeah.
So I think at one point, nearly all your staff were wearing.
They were
wearing those.
They were all wearing them.
Yeah.
Honestly, yeah. No, they were, and they are gorgeous. But they're just a little bit different, aren't they? As well,
Yeah.
That's the thing. They're comfortable, but they look really cool.
Yeah, everything has to have a little bit of something about it that keeps it from being just ordinary.
Yeah, it's lovely.
So yeah, it's a real mix. But all things can be washable. There's nothing that
because I suppose you have to think about that as well,
Yeah.
don't you? About people.
Cheesecloth sells really well for us because
Does it?
Yeah, because Lynne, there's masses of. Have you seen all that? I know. Look at that. It's so nice, isn't it? Yeah, I know.
Mademoiselle and Babetto.
There's nothing.
Well, just keep that on this end for me, and I'd quite like that one there, please. I like this one. It's
beautiful. I know it's beautiful.
But how would you wear this?
So it's on the website. I've given a few suggestions, but it works really well in autumn, winter because you can just put some black chunky boots, leather biker, just a plain black knit. It looks really cool like that. So that's how I've styled it up for autumn, winter.
That's
but
amazing.
then I put it with that little white lacy top. We've got some metallic slides, and I think that's really nice. And you just put a little denim jacket with it. So it goes all year round. That's what I like. I like when I was doing a lot of wardrobe edits, one of the things that I noticed was that so many people had things in their wardrobe that they would literally just wear once in a blue moon because it didn't quite fit it would either be like too hot or too cold, or the colour didn't go with anything else in the wardrobe. So I'm always trying to find things that I think will work for most of the year. Yeah. And I used to say that to my clients. Don't buy things that are like you're only going to get a few times a year wear. Invest most of your wardrobe into because I said, when you think about it, really, most of the year we're between sort of 8 degrees and 18 degrees in this country. That's kind of so go for the clothes that you can wear within that, and then invest most of your money in there rather than these huge, like a big shaggy coat or something that you might only wear 2 or 3 times because it's just too hot, and every time you go out you melt.
Like your shaggy coat that you wore in.
But that's quite light, so it's actually not as warm as it looks.
Is that on the website at the moment?
No, sold out. Well, that's the other thing as well, and people sort of think that we're going to be like Marks and Spencers and that we'll just keep restocking stuff. But A, we can't always.
No, but also
B, we don't always want to either. We are a boutique, so you
don't want everyone wearing the same thing.
No, and our customers also know that if something comes up, they have to buy it quick because the chances are they'll miss out otherwise. So, and that's good training.
Are they coming up again, those coats? Not that this is all about me, but it's really nice, that coat. It's so nice that you wore. It's amazing. It's
cool. So I try to find things that just got a little bit of detail or something that make it unusual. There was a lady once that said, I just want, I think it was just a plain vest or something. And I just said, well, we don't really do things like that because we try to do things that look, and she went, don't complain. She said, that's why I come to you and I don't go to Next or Marks and Spencers. I went, okay, fair enough. She said, because I love the fact that everything is a little bit unique and a little bit different. So she said, I do need a white vest, but I'm just going to go to Marks and Spencers and get it. And I said, well, that's lovely because then you can add it in. It's not all about us. It means that our clothes can merge with all the other things in your wardrobe. So,
and that is what's important, isn't it? It's having a wardrobe that
versatility.
It is versatility. Yeah. I have got much better over the years. I think when I was 40 with you, I was absolutely chaos. And probably the majority of my wardrobe was black. I mean, I do still like black leather.
But also, you've got, because you're a creative, you've got a magpie tendency, and a lot of people are like that, where they see something and think, and they love it and buy it, but they're not actually thinking, well, what is in my wardrobe?
No, what will it go with?
What is my life like? So I used to say to people, think about several things. It's not just about the colour and the shape, but think about, is it going to fit in your wardrobe and you're going to wear it?
Yeah.
Because you've got the lifestyle to go with it. But also, and this is a really important one, I used to say to people, think about your style personality, because everyone's got one. So some people are really, really neat, classic. They don't like anything like this would just bring them out in hives. They go, oh no, I can't do that. It's too much pattern, too much form. So think about that, and think about if you're really not particularly creative and you love the idea of it, but it doesn't actually make you feel right, it's because it's not your style personality. You're better off being, either just keeping it really quite simple, or just getting one or two accessories just to, some people used to say, I feel really bad because I haven't got any jewellery. I go, well, that's because you're not a jewellery person. You don't have to do what everyone else is doing.
That's such good, because it really is actually that simple, that if you put something on, it doesn't make you feel good, don't wear it.
Yeah.
Because I've always been like, oh, I've spent all that money on those clothes and I'm gonna wear it. I mean, I've still got a pair of Jimmy Choo trainers, the only Jimmy Choos that I own, that I've had for about 10 years. Cost me more money than I'd ever spend on a pair of trainers.
Yeah.
They're a size 7. They don't fit me.
Yeah.
I just can't get rid of them. It's just this thing that I'm like, I won't get. And they're really nice. They're snakeskin. They're lovely. They're all very nice. Look nice. I think I wore them once actually, but they don't make me feel good. And it's just that thing where you just have this. And now I'm getting much better at buying more carefully, because I do have to wear different outfits. But also just, like you say, if something doesn't make me feel good, it's just like, well, that's just not for me.
Yeah. And I always say that to people, they sort of go, oh, I'm not sure whether it's me. Then don't get it.
No.
You've got to be absolutely sure.
Yeah.
And if you put something on and you're excited about wearing it, and every time you look at it in the wardrobe, it brings you joy, it's the right thing to keep. But if it's something that, I've had people sort of go, oh, I really love it on you. Well, you love it on someone else, but you're not loving it on yourself. And if you put it on, and some people have gone, well, I feel like I'm putting on a bit of a kind of costume. Well, that is the absolute indicator that it's not for you. If you feel like you're putting on another person, their persona, then it's not for you. It's not the right thing for you to buy it. And sometimes people go, oh, my husband and kids will laugh at this because it's so not me. Well, don't buy it. Do not buy it.
It's so funny, isn't it? Because I can remember once coming home with I'm sure I told you this story when we went shopping actually, but I bought a coat that I thought I really liked from quite an expensive shop in Tunbridge Wells, and I came back and my ex Ashley said to me, he went, well, you look like Joseph out of the Technicolor Dreamcoat. And I took it straight back but actually in hindsight, it wasn't really a me coat. It wasn't. I saw it and I loved it because I'm a bit of a magpie.
Yeah.
But it wasn't me. But since having to wear glasses, and obviously I've got quite a lot of glasses, it's funny because some people say, they're always like, oh, can I try your glasses on? Your glasses are really cool. And then they'll put them on and they're like, I'm like, you've got to go in to see the guys about your glasses, because just because they look good on me, they put them on and they go, oh, it feels really weird. It feels really weird. Yeah. And it's exactly what you're talking about. They're putting on a costume.
Yes.
This is me. It doesn't mean it's them.
Yeah.
And same with you.
And because you're owning it, because you put them on and they look good on you and you feel good, you're giving that confidence. And it's almost like people want that confidence, so they want to, but then it's not their confidence. And confidence is such a huge thing, and I talk about it an awful lot because I've been through a journey. Most of my life I wasn't particularly confident. I think I was good at winging it, because people are always surprised when I say that. They go, really? You've always been confident? No, I haven't. And even doing this a few years ago, I would have gone, oh no, I'm not doing that. I wouldn't have even thought of doing it, because I just didn't feel that I A, had the confidence, B, had anything interesting to say. But I have learned over the years, and I think it's an interesting thing with the menopause actually, and I think it's worth saying it, because I went to an event a couple of weeks ago, and it was very, very interesting, and the room was full of 60 women that were of an age. Everyone there was kind of perimenopausal or postmenopausal, and there was a team of people who were giving incredibly good advice about what to expect and what you can do about it. But as I sat there thinking, I'm 60 now, so I've kind of, way out the other side of it.
You are not 60.
Well, near 61 actually, but don't tell anyone.
Honestly.
No one will know.
Seriously, I'm just staying 44 forever. I just
me
like
too.
fours.
Yeah. But I just remember looking around the room thinking, probably a lot of the women here haven't actually been through the menopause yet, and they're probably, having heard all this information, they're probably really quite scared and daunted by it, because it's one of those things. It's everyone talks about all the symptoms. It's a bit like pregnancy, really, but they don't actually talk about the greatness of the baby. And to me, I think it's the same with menopause. It's all about the downside to it. From my perspective, yeah, I've had loads of horrible symptoms and times when I felt pretty rubbish, but my overall impression of it is it's a great thing, because what happens when you get into your late 40s, early 50s is that your hormones change. Obviously, that's what's happening, but you get more. So women get more testosterone, and they have less of the estrogen, which is the nurturing. And we all know what testosterone does. It makes people feel a bit more kind of, empowered. And that's what happens to women. They actually start to say, and I'm sure that you've seen it with your friendship group.
That's so interesting, though.
Well,
yeah.
you get that point in your life where you go, actually, it's about me now.
Yes.
I'm going to do what I want to do. So I became aware sort of 10 years ago that a lot of my friends were leaving partners, changing jobs, saying no to things, saying yes to things, because they felt more empowered. So it's a great opportunity really just to say, don't fear. If you haven't been through the menopause yet, don't fear it, because actually I think my turning point was 50, and I think I've become a better person than I ever was before, because I feel more confident and more empowered.
And do you know what? That's such a great way of looking at it, because you are right. There is so much information about it, which is good, because there's more information than there was 30 years ago.
Absolutely. I'm not knocking that.
But, no, I know you're not. But it is always on the, you're going to get the sweats, you're going to get this, you're going to get that.
Yeah.
And I was talking to my sister at the weekend, because we all went through it quite early in my family, and she's starting, she's perimenopausal, and I was like, yeah, but this is great. I can help you out. I can tell you what to, this is a great solution. A bit like you with clothes. This is great. I can tell you what's going to fit your body, because there were so many holistic remedies, as well as help from whatever place you want to go. Every case is individual with the menopause, but you can get help, and once you got help, it's like anything. I mean, we've had to grow babies and have periods our whole life, for God's sake. It's actually quite a relief not to have one anymore.
Absolutely. And that's not to underestimate it, because I know a lot of women go through absolute hell, but I just wanted to sort of say that it's not all bad, and actually it's a time to be a little bit more selfish and actually put ourselves higher up the list. Like I was saying before,
the testosterone, that's very interesting what you said.
Yeah, because I think when you're right at the bottom of the list, it really erodes your self-confidence, and you get to the point where you don't actually feel that you're great about anything. But I think when you do start putting yourself that bit higher and start doing things that might feel selfish, but actually it's just doing things that you want to do rather than thinking of everyone else first, it's really good for confidence.
And it does when we have children. I don't know what you think of this, Lynn, but it did really knock my confidence when I had children, because for starters, I was predominantly the highest earner in the family, so I went from that to being at home with the babies, so I didn't have my big pay packet. I wasn't getting dressed up in leather suits every day and going to London. Suddenly I was wearing joggers because I couldn't fit in anything else that looked more like leggings, and I had a baby on one hip, and then it really did not, and people looked at me differently.
Yeah,
people looked at me differently to how they used to look at me in London when I had my heels and my leather skirt on, and so it knocked my confidence. And then I just sort of didn't really want to do anything about it. And then you're tired all the time, so you don't feel exercising. So then you don't really care about your wardrobe. And clothes do make you feel, I feel good when I put my clothes on. I know that if I go out, I'm just, sometimes my daughter, she'll be like, Mum, you're just like a big kid, but I'm not. I don't care. It makes me feel really good.
Yeah, and that's what it's all about. It doesn't matter what anyone wears.
It doesn't matter.
As long as you feel good.
Yeah, now my daughter, she's like, Mum, I really like those trainers. Can I wear them? I mean, these ones, she wore them out last night. So it's fine. She's 11, but it's the point is that we do go through this journey, and it's nice to know that actually, like you say, that's a nice thing that we get to go through that journey, and then we take some of that time that we give with love back for ourselves.
I think it's absolutely right. Self-love is everything, really, and I don't think I self-loved enough sort of in my 30s and 40s.
Me neither.
And I think that I'm better at it now, because
you are now. Look,
I know, and
you're self-loving and loving to everyone ourselves.
And I feel quite proud of what what I've started and created. It's a really nice feeling, I have to say.
I just think it's lovely, because I've known you from when you were the stylist and just going on that shopping trip. to this. So obviously I've just seen you grow and grow and grow. And it is, and what is beautiful, like you say, is it's been totally organic. It's been totally natural. It's been totally, you've not not spent thousands of pounds on PR campaigns and this, and you have just been yourself.
Yeah.
And this is what you've created with your family. And that is
really
beautiful.
That's all we can all do, isn't it? Be ourselves.
Yes, be authentic.
Be authentic, but feel good. And when you feel good in yourself, then that's when all the great stuff happens, really.
And I always feel good when I see you and Russell walking through Langton.
Oh, bless you.
I do. You're just so cute, the two of you. Sorry, Russell, if you're listening. But you are, and you've got two gorgeous boys as well, haven't you? So, but you've got a beautiful family, and you have way too many holidays, Lynn.
I wish I did.
I'm sorry.
I need one now.
It's only because I just want one. I'm just like, no, but it's you. But you're. I like the way you do that as well. When you go on holiday, you'll share some of your outfits when you're on holiday. I really like that. It's nice to see. I'll be like, oh, that's nice. And I don't think there's anything wrong with seeing someone being happy on holiday. It's like it's a good thing.
I think my fear when I first went on social media, because it's painfully exposing when you first do it, you feel like, it makes you feel quite sick to the pit of your stomach that you're having to stand there and go,
yeah, absolutely.
And I think at the beginning I was just like, I really don't want to do this. So it was a very long, painful journey for me. But someone said something once to me and I just thought, oh, thank goodness for that, because I didn't want people to think that I'm standing there going, look at me, I'm so fabulous. Yeah. Because that's not ever been what I want to do. But it's more about, this is what I'm wearing and how can I help you? And that was always my message. So, and this lady just went, what I love about it is that you can see that is your message. You're not doing it because you're up yourself. And I went, that means the world. Thank you.
Lynn, you're very humble. Oh, you are the Meek Boutique. You are, aren't you though? I always think with your name, I'm always like the Meek Boutique. It's just perfectly made for you.
Perfect name, really,
isn't it? Mm. Well, it's been lovely to have you on.
Well, it's been lovely to be here.
I'm going to press stop and record, then I'm going to make some purchases, guys. But for those that don't have your details, how can they find you?
Well, they can find us on Instagram. We are the Meek Boutique UK. And you can find us on Facebook. We are the Meek Boutique on Facebook. And if you want to go to the website, we are themeekboutique.co.uk.
And I've got to ask you, come on, we're coming into spring.
Yeah.
What is the trend for this spring?
Oh, I try not to follow trends too much.
I know, but for you, come on. What's something you think should be a good thing for? Well, for me, what should I have? Well, I'm going to Ibiza in 2 weeks.
Colour, obviously. It's just
anything colourful.
Do you know what? If you just wore like black and navy all the time, it wouldn't be you, would it?
No, and I did do that a lot.
I think of you,
I was miserable when I did that.
I think of you, and I think of colour.
Yeah,
but that's a good thing to be.
Oh, thanks, Lynn. I'm laughing for you, and I think I'm just eyeing up those. I'm literally just eyeing up all her clothes, like thinking. But obviously, I'm thinking about you guys, but I'm also thinking about Meek's Boutique. So check her out, check Lynn out, check her out on Insta, and support these guys. They're amazing, and you're a family-run business, and I love that. And I do know your family, and they are gorgeous. So you just
I'm a bit biased.
No, but well done. You're good eggs. And you deserve all the success that you've got. So you've worked very hard for it. So it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on, Lynn.
Thank you very much.
Come back and talk to us again.
We will.
All right. Lots of love. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.